Sanofi, a global and diversified healthcare leader, reports results for the second quarter of 2013. Chris Viehbacher, welcome.
Thanks, Laura. It's good to be with you.
You're the CEO of Sanofi. What are your comments on the group's performance in the second quarter, which on the face of it showed some disappointing numbers?
Well, I think there's no point sugarcoating it. I think this was indeed a frustrating quarter. I say frustrating because a number of things are actually going along extremely well. We've been very happy with the performance of our diabetes franchise. The performance of Genzyme, for example, up again over 25%. A lot of our emerging markets had very strong performance, and I think what really makes me feel satisfied about the progress of the company is that we're really starting to get a lot of good news coming out of our research and development portfolio. At the same time, we had some businesses clearly underperforming and some setbacks in the quarter. And this is, of course, against the backdrop of, in any case, a difficult comparator to the prior year. This is the last quarter where we're comparing to a quarter where we still, at least in part of it, had sales of Plavix. And so Plavix weighed on the earnings per share to the tune of about 18 cents, or roughly 230 million euro. And that brings us to about 795 million euro loss due to the fact that we don't have Plavix this year and we did last year. But of course, that's very much in line with what we said. We said at the beginning of the year that this was going to be about 800 million euro. We have seen our animal health business underperform, principally due to increased generic competition for our main product Frontline, and also due to weather conditions. We had a very cold, wet spring, which meant that sales for flea and tick products were down. We saw an underperformance in Japan, where there has been a move by the government to increase generic utilization, and that had a negative impact on Allegra and Mycely, otherwise known as Stilnox or Ambien. And of course, we had a mess to clean up in Brazil. We had trade channels with excessively high inventory levels, and that meant we had to take a write-off really on some of our accounts receivable, make a provision for stocks that had been returned or will be returned. And that effect had an impact of about 17 cents a share. Now, if I look at all that, it obviously doesn't make for a pretty quarter, but I don't think anything fundamentally has changed about the business. You know, I still believe we have a very strong, vibrant leadership position in emerging markets. Our diabetes business is going well. We're getting new products out. We've had some successful launches like Aubagio. So we now need to just buckle down, get through this, and we will still should be able to still get through the second half coming back into growth.